Hello, and welcome to Mish Language, the podcast where we take the schoolyard conversation of, hey, what would happen if we asked the clever kids to come and join in with our pseudo-violent discussion? And we talk about it on a podcast.
That's what this is.
It is. For those who've been following us on Twitter, we sort of said that during our end-of-year break, we'd try and get 2 specials out to you. This is one of them.
Is it the second one of them?
It is the second, yes. Hello.
Or is this the first one of a special for us
First
specifically?
One of 2 specials from us specifically. But it is the second special that we've done with Unparliamentary Language, who are joining us today.
Hello. Hello.
So I guess we'll have a slightly longer roll call than usual, but as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Wade. Just Wade today.
I'm Tom and/or Wilco, depending on how you know me.
And I'm Rob.
Cool. Do you guys want to say a bit about what you normally do?
Not for a living. Just to clarify.
No, so, we are Unparliamentary Language between us. Mostly it's a vehicle for Rob to present his analysis of the political landscape. And I try my best to sound vaguely informed and ask him good questions.
If it was a vehicle, what vehicle would it be?
Oh, a dune buggy. I've always loved dune buggies. It's a useless vehicle, primarily just going for across sand, of which there's not that much.
Are you saying that your podcast is useless except for going across sand?
No, I think that's politics in general, isn't it?
Precisely.
See, I would have gone for a battle bus because I feel like that was the obvious choice. But see, this is why we let Rob make the decisions.
No, that's why you're the host, because you make the sensible. You put me on the battle bus and stop me from, the pipe dream of a dune buggy. Yes. Well, thank you for those kinds of words, Wilco. It's a chance for me to vent and talk about Brexit a lot, amongst other things. Sometimes politics throws an election in to spice things up, just because politics is quite boring at the moment and you really need something to, shake the cage a little bit. But, if you've listened to us, then, keep listening. And I hope you listen to Mish Mayhem as well.
Did you say there was an election happening?
Yes. Usually they don't have them around at Christmas, but they've decided to do one now for a laugh.
Yeah, today,
I was joking.
Is the best summary of the current political situation I've heard. And I've just edited an entire episode of us talking about politics.
But, isn't today the last day to register?
It is indeed. You can't register for a postal vote now, but you can register to vote by 23:59 this evening.
So, if you didn't realise there's an election coming, I'd get on it.
I was joking to
okay.
see what the reaction would be.
It's hard to tell with you.
I know.
So, Wade, what is the plan for today?
Well, normally we would introduce 2 challenges to fighting combatants from some of our favourite series, books, novels, places, ideas of other people, essentially. Today we're going to take real people, not suggested by ourselves, but by our good comrades here, who will suggest to us, as they normally deal with political issues, they're going to suggest to us 2 real-life politicians. I tried to say that really weird, and I couldn't make it sound much weirder. Politicians. I don't know whether they'll be dead or alive. I mean, obviously we'll resurrect them for the sake of this fight. Even if they're alive, we'll just resurrect them anyway. Yeah, we'll resurrect them.
Because we can.
Yeah. Because we can. And we're going to discuss... there won't be so much of their weapons and armour. I wouldn't have thought, but I mean, maybe. Actually, maybe one of them's Lord Buckethead.
Damn, missed opportunity. I can tell you it's not Lord Buckethead.
Do you know that he's not Lord Buckethead anymore?
Really? What is he?
Gosh, I can't remember what he is. Wait a second, let me look this up.
Is it the artist formerly known as Lord Buckethead?
I wish it was. Lord Buckethead 2019.
Bucketheadformaidenhead.com is his website, by the way, which is amazing, and I hadn't realised.
He's now Count Binface.
Well, that's nowhere near as good.
For 2 reasons. One of his policies is to abolish the House of Lords, so therefore he felt it was hypocritical for him to be a lord. And 2, he lost the copyright to Lord Buckethead to the monster raving loony party, so had to rebrand himself. So in Boris Johnson's seat this election, both Lord Buckethead and Count Binface will be standing against Boris, which is
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
And all three of them seem like they could be Sesame Street characters.
Precisely. I wish we could have had Lord Buckethead versus Count Binface, because I think that's the fight everybody wants. But it's not the one you're going to get tonight.
Maybe next year.
Great shame. But yeah, we're going to go through. We'll probably have to try and rustle up some stuff about their history and all that. Hopefully, provided to us by our colleagues over there.
I have several Wikipedia pages open, just so you know.
Lovely. Then we're going to roll the definitely not patented or trademarked or copyrighted Die of Death.
The Die of Death.
The Die of Death, to see where these two people are going to meet and have their fight. And it could be somewhere extremely absurd, and it could be your back garden. Specifically your back garden. Yeah, that's right, Terry, your back garden. With the slide and the tree and the pond. Yeah, your back garden.
Just to sort of clear things up with people, we are using our standard Die of Death list. So if we do happen to get a fan suggestion, hopefully they'll be okay with the fact that it won't be in a canonical episode.
Also, just to clear things up, if there is a Terry who has a back garden with a slide, a tree, and a pond in it, I'm not stalking you. That was chance.
No, he knows where you live and he's coming for you, Terry.
I'm coming for you, Terry. I'm always the one.
He's after the chocolate oranges. Watch out.
Yeah, they grow on the tree.
That'd be cool to have a chocolate orange tree. I mean, I'm not even a big fan of chocolate orange, and I'd still like that.
Yeah, but they'd all melt, wouldn't they? They'd fall off when they're ripe. And then you'd go outside, you'd come back from work, you'd be like, oh, what a lovely summer's day. I'll just pick my oranges, and you'd put your hand straight through them because they'd just be mush.
Yeah, I know, but your entire garden would smell like melted chocolate. It'd be really cool.
I mean, it would be a messy disaster. Like mowing the lawn under that, can you imagine? Oh, no, it's just not the way, is it?
I feel like life is a messy disaster, though, so it's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. You know what else was a messy disaster? I rode over a small part of a dead deer. I'm not sure what part of it.
Why didn't you go round?
Well, I mean, it was very dark, and I was behind another car, so I didn't have my full beams on. And it was, like, round a corner. So it just, like, came out of the way very quickly. I wasn't going to swerve to the right to smash myself into an oncoming car. So I narrowly avoided it. I avoided going directly over a massive mounding heap of deer and just hit a small bit of deer.
Oh, dear.
The only correct response.
Right, so without further ado, I think we should find out what politicians are coming into the fray.
Do you want to go first, Rob, or shall I?
You go first. You actually
Right.
thought of a politician before me, so you're far more prepared.
Okay, so my suggestion for this fight that you're going to have is the Right Honourable Kenneth Clark, CHQC. Don't worry, I'll explain that in a second. So he is currently the father of the House of Commons, which is a title given to the longest serving MP. So therefore the most senior member. So they have to have been in office continuously for the longest time. And he has held that since February 2017, which is actually not that long, but, you know, he's been around in politics for a long time. Just to give you a sense of the number of positions he's been in, as well as being an MP, if you scroll through his page on Wikipedia, it's 3 scrolls to get through all of his various positions he's had in government, including being Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, which is one of our favourite random positions in the UK government. He's been everything. He was Lord Commissioner to the Treasury, Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Transport. He was Minister of State for Health, Employment, Trade and Industry, Health again, Education and Science, Home Secretary, Chancellor of the Exchequer, Secretary of State for Justice. He was also a Minister without portfolio, which is a cool title.
It doesn't sound very good, though, does it?
No,
I mean, if you were an artist
it's a
without
cool
portfolio,
title. Yeah.
I'm the Minister of being a bit unprepared.
He was also the Paymaster General. Sounds like someone you'd want on side.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool title.
Yeah, so just, just to make sure we're referring to the right Kenneth Clark, the disambiguation page for Ken Clark lists 11 alternative Ken Clarks. Don't confuse him with Kenny Clark, referee from Scotland. Don't confuse him with Kenny Clark, wide receiver, an American footballer. Don't confuse him with Don't confuse him with Kenny Clark, defensive tackle, another American footballer. Don't confuse him with Ken Clark, punter, or Ken Clark, running back, both NFL people. I think you probably won't confuse him with those. Also, don't confuse him with Kenneth Clark, the psychologist, Kenneth Clark, the ceramicist, Kenneth Clark, the priest, who was Archdeacon of Swindon until he passed away recently, Ken Clark, the actor, or Ken Clark, the politician, who is an American politician, or Kenneth Willis Clark, who is a Greek paleographer. So yeah.
You know who I confused him with, who wasn't any of those people?
Who?
Clark Kent.
Don't confuse him with Clark Kent. He is not secretly Superman.
No, I reckon all of those other 11 Ken Clarks you've listed are just his different like alter egos because he seems to have had that many jobs.
Yeah.
All he did was just spawn a version of himself after he'd done with that job. It's like, you will now carry on in my place.
But what I'm taking as a practical application for this fight from all of the different job titles is that he's got a wide variety of skills he can bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, as far as parliamentary skills go, he's probably got most of them. He is described by the press as a big beast of British politics. And yeah, so to summarise the last 2 points, I suppose, from his title. Right honourable is the thing all the MPs have. CH is he is a member of the Order of the Companions of Honour, which is one of the orders of the Commonwealth realms. And the Chapel Royal at Hampton Court is the chapel of that order. So, it's, he has an award. That's always good. And he's also a Queen's Counsel, i.e. he is a lawyer. So that's where QC comes from for non-British listeners who may not know what QC means. Other than that, he is a Conservative MP and he's been around a lot. I don't know if there's anything else I want to say. I don't know if there's vital statistics.
I'm looking up where he was born.
He was born in West Bridgeford, Nottinghamshire.
Oh, so he's a bit of a northerner.
Yep, he's 79.
And he's getting on a bit.
His university was Cambridge, where he went to Gonville and Caius College, which I have literally never heard of, and I have watched a lot of University Challenge.
To be fair, from this photo you've shown us, I did think he was a bit old, but he doesn't look 79. Like, he looks all right for his age.
Again, I don't know when that photo was taken. 2011, so that photo is 8 years out of date.
Well, even so, he doesn't look 70 in that picture.
True. I mean, I think it's amazing what a good portrait can do.
And it's amazing what a bad 8 years can do.
Well, yes, true. But yeah, that is my competitor for this evening's fight. So I think next up is up to Rob to tell us who he's picked.
Well, I think I've picked the perfect opponent for Ken Clark. It's a man who has also held the coveted title of Duchy of Lancaster. In fact, he is the current Chancellor of Duchy of Lancaster. Some people might say that makes him the reigning champion.
Lancaster.
Yeah. It's the man. He's the hot pot. He's a man who looks like his face has been stung by 84 wasps. He is a guy who looks like he's a baby, and he's scared everybody's going to realise he is a baby. He's a man that looks like a thing that Andy Serkis has motion captured. It is Michael Gove.
Oh,
there he is.
No.
No, he looked like in that again in this picture that you've put in. He looks like Brains from Thunderbirds, but like in retirement.
That's kind of not a bad description of him. So, well, I mean, Brains is being very kind to Michael Gove. Michael Gove thinks he's got the brains, certainly. He's been a Conservative politician since 2010. Before that, he was a journalist who worked for The Times, and his time as a journalist has made him think that he's capable of doing anything. Do not underestimate the man's ambition. I'm going to share my favourite cartoon of all time, which features Michael Gove, basically saying, he was a journalist once, he wrote about planes, I'm the one who can defeat the alien invasion flying this plane. He's held a lot of jobs in his time as a member of parliament. He was elected in 2010 and instantly became education secretary, where he put forward a number of striking reforms that left a lot of teachers very annoyed. He's essentially the person who, after 13 years of Labour government, decided to rip the whole curriculum up, bring back lots of tests, and ban coursework, becoming a bit of a boogeyman amongst the teaching community. After that, he moved on to be Chief Whip, which is basically the guy who runs around and tells all the MPs what to do. So, as a man who's very fond of his own self-importance, Michael Gove loved that job. He then became Secretary of State of Justice, supported Leave in the EU referendum, and became best friends with current Prime Minister Boris, who he'd actually met previously at Oxford University. And I always think when you see them together, you can imagine Gove sort of... Boris was an older child. Gove met him in his first year. I can always imagine him sort of toadying up to Boris and, shining his shoes, being the worm tongue of the Oxford Unions.
I like that. In that analogy, Boris Johnson is Voldemort.
I
Saruman.
was going to say Wormtongue was Lord of the Rings.
Sorry, yes, I was thinking Wormtail. My mistake.
Like a Peter Pettigrew almost. Yes. Okay, yeah, he's a similar figure in that. Yeah, he's a Pettigrew. He's a Wormtongue. He's the man at the side of the big guy.
Yes. Yeah, however, I know who Wormtongue is. I remember. I was just getting my franchises confused.
That's all right. I love Yoda in Star Trek. Anyway, so despite this sort of second in command, features he's got about him, in 2016, there was the Conservative leadership election to see who was going to be the next Prime Minister, and everybody expected Boris to stand, and Gove kind of said, "Yeah, I'm behind you, Boris, mate, all the way. Don't worry about it." And then, just as Boris was about to announce his leadership campaign, Michael Gove said, "Surprise! I've done it instead," which led to Boris sort of having to change everything on the fly, realising that he wouldn't get enough votes to get out of the round. Boris cancelled his leadership campaign, and the stage was set for Michael Gove to become Prime Minister and to get knocked out in the third place, losing to both Theresa May and Andrea Leadsom. But that hasn't thwarted his ambition. He's been Secretary of State in the Environment, and now he's the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, which basically means he gets to say whatever the hell he damn chooses. He's a controversial figure, often outspoken, and even today I was trying to see what stupid thing Michael Gove has done today. Have you heard that Stormzy was telling everyone to vote?
Yes.
And then Gove said, I think he should stick to rapping rather than telling people how to vote. And then what did he say in response? Let me just get this. I'm on images. Why am I on images? Michael Gove is the type of man who, when faced with Stormy, tweets, "I set trends, dem man copy." Which is possibly the most cringeworthy tweet I've ever seen in my life. So there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Gove.
You know what? My favourite thing written on his Wikipedia pages. There's two, but my favourite one is... so I didn't know he changed his name. So it doesn't say Michael Gove, it says Graham Logan, because that was his original name. But it says, was born on the 26th of August 1967 to his biological mother. Who else is he going to be born to?
You don't realise Michael Gove was just imagined out of the fabric of the universe to bring us Brexit.
Exactly. He's like Wolverine. It's like he was created in a lab. He's
yes.
He's an enigma.
My second favourite thing was
still born
to a biological mother.
He was hundreds
just
years
like
old
Michael
when he
Gove.
had the adamantium put in him in a lab.
Just like and Michael Gove has adamantium claws. I should have mentioned that.
That will really help him actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second favourite thing is in October 2012, he wrote an apology letter to his former French teacher for misbehaving in class.
That sounds like a very, very Gove move.
Pardonnez-moi, mademoiselle, j'étais un idiot.
Je voudrais le boudoir avec tout ce soir.
That's some good Frenching there.
Solid French.
I've just gone to the link for the reference, and it says, in a letter published in the Radio Times, he says he cringes when he remembers himself, aged 15, competing to ask, quote, clever dick questions, end quote.
That's the sort of rhetoric you can expect from Michael Gove. He's a man of very... let me see if I can find the picture.
Can you imagine if, like, you'd been an arsehole to one of your teachers? But yeah, like 30 years on, you just message them and you're like, oh, I'm sorry for being a bit of a poon. And they're going to be like, who the fuck were you, mate? I've taught so many kids.
I was going to say, it's approximately half that time since we left school. And I'm pretty sure if I wrote to any of my teachers, I'd be lucky if one of them remembered me.
Yeah. I mean, I barely remember half the teachers we had. I only remember the cool ones.
Or the uncool ones. It's very one way or the other.
Ah, that's true, yeah. And bless him, 2 of our teachers that we had are dead.
Probably.
I mean, I know 2 of them are, for a fact.
Right.
Yeah. But they're the only ones I know of. Not that I expect to get news updates on these. But, there you go. Right. Which one are we taking each?
I don't mind. Which would you rather?
Have you got any tabs open?
No.
Well, I have tabs open on Kenneth Clark.
Okay.
So, shall I go with Kenneth Clark?
Sure. So, to sum up, then, if I'm championing go for this thing, I've got high ambition and bad insults are my 2 skills.
Yeah, and a sort of a Machiavellian tendency. Like, he stabbed
what does
Boris
that
in the...
mean?
Well, let me just explain Machiavelli's The Prince to you. It's... It is, Machiavelli once said it's better to be, if you're a leader, it's better to be loved than feared. But if you can't be loved, basically, fear is the only way, and strike terror. It's like Machiavellian is, you're snide, you're conniving, it's cunning. He wasn't afraid to stab Boris in the back to chase his own ambitions. He'll, do whatever it takes, no matter how slimy or immoral. That's the Gove way. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on him, but that's essentially what he always embodies for me.
So you mean kind of like beating up a 79-year-old man?
Kind of like that, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. And my guy is 79 years old and apparently has an enthusiasm for cigars, jazz and motor racing.
That's definitely going to come up.
I mean, cigars will...
Yeah, he's old and a smoker.
Well, yeah, but if he likes cigars, he's going to have a lighter on him.
Ooh.
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 Yeah.
So you're hoping to get petrol station on the Die of Death, then?
Well, I mean, that would just end up in a catastrophe for both people. And Shell, or whatever petrol pump it is.
What's the BBC phrase, Rob? Other petrol station providers do exist, or something.
Yeah, other
are
are available, yeah.
There you go. I've been listening to a lot of Election Cast.
Right. Oh dear. Excuse the yawn.
That's all right.
It was a long day. I wore lots of stuff.
I wore clothes too.
I wore the normal amount of clothes, not a lot.
I'm not wearing anything, big boy. Oh, sorry. That's my other job.
Your other job?
Job, hobby,
When does a hobby become a job? When you get paid to do it?
Precisely.
Pretty much.
Get paid handsome. Right, anyway.
The outtakes are going to be wild.
It's that time.
For the die?
I
was hoping someone would finish that off.
Sorry. Yeah, well...
Is it the time for the die? The Die of Death? Yes, that one.
Yes, rather.
Would you be so kind as to cast it into the fire from whence it came?
You're not supposed to tell people we got the Die of Death from Mount Doom.
Whoa. Mount Doom doesn't have fire. I mean, it does also have fire, but it was made from lava, I think. Or was it? Actually, it probably wasn't, was it? It was probably just made from metal melted by lava from Mount Doom. I don't know enough about
At this point, I'm just going to ignore you and go, it's time for the Die of Death!
All right, let's roll. Oh, what's a fact about this number? I want to find a fun fact.
Fun fact.
Yeah. Or political fact. I'm not sure if I type political fact about number, whether it will come up. No. Fine, whatever. It's number 2.
Oh. So, today's fight is taking place in a ninja library.
A ninja library?
Yeah.
Is the library a ninja, or is it a library for ninjas?
Or a library of ninjas?
Before Mishmash Mayhem started, when I had my original list of 20 things, and I said to Wade what my original list was, and he went, by a library, you clearly mean a library where the librarian is a ninja who attacks anyone who's too noisy, right?
I don't remember saying that. Excellent.
And I was like, that isn't at all what I meant, but fine, I'll change it.
It just sounds like something I'd say.
So that's what it is. It's a normal library where the librarian is a ninja who will attack people who are too loud.
Well, that's not going to end up very well, is it?
So, which means that they're going to have a really quiet fight.
I mean, they're not going to. They're politicians. We all know that politicians don't do quiet. They do yelling loudly and opinionatedly. I was wondering what a pro-European ginger group is. Well, apparently Clark is the president of the Tory Reform Group, who are a liberal pro-European ginger group.
Ginger?
Yeah. Apparently a ginger group is a formal or informal group within an organisation seeking to influence its direction and activity. The term comes from the phrase ginger up, which no one's ever heard of, meaning to enliven or stimulate. Ginger groups work to alter their organisation's policies, practices, or office holders. So it's like...
You're teaching me something about politics tonight, because I had no idea that that's what a ginger group was. So, yeah,
I mean,
impressed.
That isn't necessarily only related to politics.
I'm going to start using ginger up in all of my sentences tomorrow. See who picks me up on it.
I mean, that's a lot of sentences.
I know, but, when you commit to something, you've got to go the whole hog.
I'm not wearing any clothes, big boy. Want to ginger me up?
This is a much hornier podcast than the other one we're on.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make unparliamentary language hornier, I'm there. Don't worry. I've got some ideas.
Oh my god. I've just read, so this is under Return to the Backbench. I don't know what it means. He referred to this is about Clark. No, not Clark. Kenneth Clark. It says he referred to Theresa May as a bloody difficult woman. And he jokes that Michael Gove was wild and would go to war with at least 3 countries at once. He also added that Gove did us all a favour by getting rid of Boris. The idea of Boris as Prime Minister is ridiculous.
Eat those words. Eat them.
And look where we are now. Or here.
Okay, so how do you think this fight's going to start out? I imagine they're on either side of the library. They're doing like they do at the, sort of the cute meet from like a chick flick. Like they're reading their book, but they keep looking up and like looking at each other, and then they look away as soon as the other one looks, until eventually their eyes catch.
But what are they reading? Well, okay.
They're both reading Politics for Beginners.
Politics for Beginners. I think Clark would be reading a bird-watching book, because apparently he enjoys bird-watching books. Bird-watching, even. Not just books about bird-watching.
That seems fair.
I'm getting all my information off one Wikipedia page. Is this library populated with anyone else other than the Ninja Library bookkeeper?
No, because who would, in their right mind, would go to that library?
Someone who is mute.
I suppose. Maybe there might be some other ninjas about, but how would you know?
Well, yeah. Maybe Clark's a ninja. Or Go's a ninja. I doubt. Right, so, Clarky boy. He's old. He doesn't want to get up if he doesn't have to. Don't get me wrong, he's made eyes. But he's just going to scowl.
Oh. I mean, that's a harsh start.
It's a harsh start to this political warfare. Just a scowl across the library.
Based on his, his sort of what we've said, I feel like Gove would obviously have to one up that scowl with significant sort of retaliation.
No.
And I'm pretty sure he's just going to throw a book at him.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. What's the book?
The big book of embarrassing letters sent to your teachers.
Reasonable. Alright, so throws a book. How far away are they?
10 meters.
Is this a hardback book or?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, how?
It's probably leather bound. I imagine they're in a fancy library.
Does leather bound count as hardback?
I don't know.
I would say so.
Sure. Anyway, how far do you realistically think you can lob a book?
Oh, I'm not expecting it to hit.
Yeah, I don't think...
There's a good intentionality of just throwing a book at somebody in a library.
Yeah, I don't think I could throw a book that far.
But it was framed with malicious intent.
Malicious intent. The Dewey Decimal System is outraged.
I feel like this is the last episode we recorded was Rockley versus the Black Knight, and I feel like this is a much smaller scale fight to what we're used to.
Right, so this book careens across down the book aisle. The
book aisle of the library.
The book aisle of the library. And just skids across the floor and then just flumps because it's probably carpeted floor. And books have lots of friction against carpeted floors. And, I like the nodding. They're in agreement. Who's that guy on the left who's just nodding?
Sergeant Javid. So for the listeners at home, I'm just posting as many GIFs as I have that contain either Michael Gove or Ken Clark.
So yeah, that's going to skid across. And Kenneth, he's not going to be very happy because, I have no idea for the record, especially Kenneth Clark if you're listening, which I know you probably are, because who wouldn't? I'm not entirely sure what your views on lobbing books are, but you seem like a semi-reasonable person if you think that Boris being the Prime Minister is ridiculous. So you must be at least semi-okay. So he's going to be a bit irked by this, a book being thrown at him. I mean, wouldn't you be? And he's probably just going to slam his book to the table and stand up and be like, "Oh, that's enough of that." I don't know what that's what it sounds like. Probably not at all. Oh yeah, sorry, we've got to talk in obnoxiously obtuse language, haven't we? Because we're politicians.
I don't know. I think if you're going to outrightly tell me that that's enough of that, I'm probably going to send you a snarky tweet. That would be the Michael Gove response.
Gove's extraordinary knockabout book throw today merely confirms his obvious strategy to hit me in the face with book. I'm paraphrasing these things. I do think that Gove has a tremendous skill in being a dick.
Well, it would be like he would also stand up aggressively, maybe even climb onto the table because, like I say, he has to do the one-upping thing.
Kenneth Clark is not climbing up onto a table.
So Gove's going to get on top of the table and be like, "Well, I think the Right Honourable Kenneth Clark should shut up."
Shut up. And he'll be like, "That's enough." How old's Gove? He's younger. He's a whippersnapper. So
he's 50 something.
That's young enough.
But actually, as we've seen from his tweets with Stormzy today, obviously he's trying to be more hip and down with the kids. So I don't think he'll be like, "Shut up." I think it'll be "Shup."
Shup, Clark.
I don't even understand the picture you've just put up.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure which rapper his face has been superimposed on, but that's Michael Gove's face superimposed on a rapper.
Oh my god! Can you put him on a Twix bar and then have it on a different kind of rapper?
But yeah, it'll be, "Can the Right Honourable Kenneth Clark shut up and show some respect?"
So Clark will be like, "Oh, you whippersnapper, no respect," and he'll start marching towards. Now, Northerners are well known for being aggressive. I'm not sure how. I don't know if Nottingham really counts as the North or not.
I mean, to be fair, we're like
so
sort of Southampton.
Yeah.
So everything's North, isn't it?
Yeah. But anyway, he's just going to go along and he's going to just be walking frumpily towards him. Frumpily. Can you imagine Kenneth Clark? Frumpily. And he's just going to get ready to shove the table that he's on. Because, if you shove the table, Michael Gove, he's not a ballet dancer. He hasn't got the balance of a beam. That wasn't a good analogy. He's going to have some issues.
So is he going to shove the table under Gove?
Yes, absolutely. He's going to walk up to Gove's table and Like,
Gove's going to do that thing. He's going to fall off the table and hit the floor really hard, and then he's going to instantly do that thing where you like jump up and brush yourself off and pretend that it doesn't hurt, even though your leg really is in pain.
oh, what the kind of thing where you go down, you're like, oh god, and you get up and then you just like brush off.
Yeah, what? Didn't even hurt. What?
And you turn away and like, oh.
Yeah. Because, you know, he's got a safe face in front of the other politicians. He doesn't want to look bad.
Absolutely. I do it all the time climbing. Like, you bash yourself and you're like, oh god, and then you're just like, right, just calmly walk to the bathroom and let your scream out there.
That's it. Because everybody knows if you fall over, there's only two options. You have to get up and pretend it doesn't hurt, or you have to stay down until you die.
So, Gover Boy gets up off this table. He's fallen. He's 52. Like, you know, that's going to be... honestly, that's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah. I reckon he's probably twisted his ankle, but he's going to walk on it normally just to prove that he's hard and he's all right.
I'm hard and I'm all... Where was Michael Gove born? To his biological mum.
Aberdeen.
Oh, so he's Scottish.
He doesn't sound Scottish, does he?
No, he's not really Scottish at all. Hello, I'm Michael Gove. No, that's not quite it. I don't know. He sounds like Froggy to me in a way, but maybe that's just his face.
Baby.
Yeah, Govey. Oh, yeah, Govey baby. Hello, I'm Michael Gove.
Yeah, that sounds much better.
Yeah, okay.
His adoptive father, Ernest, ran a fish processing business, and his adoptive mother, Christine, was a lab assistant at the University of Aberdeen before working at the Aberdeen School for the Deaf. So he did grow up in Scotland for a bit. He was adopted by a Labour-supporting couple in Aberdeen. They must be disappointed.
Yeah, well, he said that he originally joined the Labour Party, but then when he but he said by the time he went to university, he knew he was really a Tory. But I feel like in this moment of pain, maybe the true inner Scotsman would come out and it just, oh, you bastard. And then it I think it pushed Gove.
Oh.
You know, like those, like, not a proper push, but you know, like the schoolyard sort of, like, push on the shoulders, just like the what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. You know, like the really petty starting a fight.
All right, so naturally, he's pushed Clark, and it seems very reasonable that a person of such reputation and prolific profile, prolific isn't the right word, such a varied profile as Kenneth Clark, he's going to push him back.
Wow.
Well, you know, you don't go straight, you know, he's old, he doesn't want to get straight into it, but he's absolutely going to push him back. Just give him a shove. It's like, you what?
Wow. Again, I feel like this is very much the way that the Gove ambition works, is he's got to one-up everything that's done to him. So how do you one-up it like a schoolyard push? He's going to give Clark a quick kick in the shins, isn't he?
Oh, a kick in the shins to an old man. That's just mean.
Yeah. Well, he's willing to put down an old man to get what he wants, which is the library to himself.
Oh god! So he gives old Clark a kick in the shin, and Clark's, you know, he's got old frail bones. I'm not suggesting that his bone's going to break. That'd be quite mad. But you know, it's going to hurt him a lot. And he's going to go like, yeah, fucker, and he's going to grab a book from the nearby bookshelf and just try and slam it straight into the side of Gove's face.
I feel like at this point, what might be a good idea is, Rob and Tom, if you want to take the role of the ninja librarian, at what point you decide they're making too much noise. And then you can intervene in any way you see fit, and we'll just deal with what happens.
So I have an issue with what you've just proposed.
Okay.
So this is a library.
Yes.
And so that we understand the ninja librarian is there to enforce silence, but also they're a ninja. So, like, we're not going to hear them coming, which in an audio medium might be problematic.
Or maybe if something you consider to be too loud or violent in action, maybe they can have like a warning or something, I don't know. But you could just be like, the librarian has done such an action. You can just declare it.
Okay, Rob, do you want to take the librarian first or second?
Wow, what a question. Taking it in turns to take the librarian.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, is this a way to make the podcast more horny again?
Okay, so I think the ninja librarian is going to be quite irked by the noise particularly, I think he's going to get more annoyed by anything that happens to the precious ninja books. Because I imagine these are sacred to him. He wants to protect them with his life. So the ninja librarian is calmly, coolly going to descend from the ceiling and just tap them both on the shoulder, because they're quite close together, and go, "Oi, lads, we've all had a little bit of ninja reading. Sometimes it goes to our heads. We just got to cool our jets and just think, what would Margaret Thatcher do? I think that would calm both of them down. I know when I always think of Margaret Thatcher, I calm down a lot. So,
are you talking about erotically or?
Mostly erotically, yeah. There's no bigger turnoff. As Austin Powers once famously said, Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day, Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. So yeah, I think that he's just going to give them a stern telling off now and then slowly ascend back into the ceiling.
Is this one of those like telling offs where, although he doesn't say anything, he does make it very obvious that he's got a katana?
Exactly. Yeah, I think when you get told off by one of his parents, he's not just he's more disappointed than angry at the moment. These two they're seasoned politicians. They're better than this. They should be. Well, I don't know if Michael Gove's better than this, but they should be better than this. So he's going to just give them a stern telling off, ascend slowly back into the ceiling, and just let them know that he's always watching, he's always listening, he's always there.
I feel like in reaction to this, so they're going to stop the fight momentarily, but they'll do the thing where they'll both sit down in the chairs right next to each other, so they're definitely still in each other's space in a really passive-aggressive way.
Yeah.
And then, Gove's just going to lean over to Clark and be like, I can't believe you got us in trouble.
I know this is going out in a normal feed, but for those of you who've come here to listen from unparliamentary language, this is the most civil fight they've ever had, I think.
So, they sit down, but, Clark's, he's still annoyed. He gets out one of his cigars, and he's like, truth cigar?
Gove takes the cigar, and as Clark likes it...
No, he doesn't take it. He hasn't offered it to him. He has offered it to him, but he hasn't offered it to him.
All right. Well, he says yes, he agrees. But he's got the intent of, when being handed a lit cigar, he's then just going to burn him with it.
Right. So Clark's plan was to light the cigar and then jab Gove's hand with it.
Oh, Clark's going to do it first. You see, this is Gove's plan as well.
So he'll light up the cigar. He'll light up his one. He'll give the other unlit one to Gove. And as Gove goes to inevitably take it, a stab.
You see, obviously, with surprise and the pain of that, Gove's going to yelp and then really quickly cover his mouth like he didn't make a noise. And then he's going to push Clark off his chair.
At this point, the ninja librarian is just going to come swiftly up from the hatch underneath them, take the cigar and go, no smoking in the library, and then return back underneath the hatch.
I like to imagine that, Kenneth Clark's just falling backwards on his chair, holding his thing. The hatch opens up next to him and he just takes it out of his hand while he's lying backwards on the floor, probably in a severe amount of pain, as a 79-year-old man who's just taken a backwards tumble off a chair. And then goes and takes comes down, goes back down, the hatch closes, and then opens another one, not 2 foot away, next to Gove, and just goes, yoink!
I feel like at this point, Gove being the sort of conniving mind worm that he is.
Mind worm. I swear that's a band.
Maybe. But he's going to be of the opinion that actually the easiest way to win this fight is just to get Clark to make enough noise that the librarian does the work for him.
But do they know that the librarian is, incredibly potentially lethal?
I mean, the librarian is a ninja and has a katana.
But have they seen the katana so far? They just had it. Okay. Oh yeah, it was kind of brandished him. All right. And to be honest, Kenneth Clark, he's older. He's going to be in more pain, and he's also Northern. For what we're calling Northern. Apologies if you're from Nottingham and don't think you're Northern, but for the sake of this, you are. Unless you live in Nottingham and you were born down south, then you're not.
Then you're only Northern by proxy.
he's like on the floor and he's like, writhing. Is Gove making a move out of his chair at all?
While Clark is on the floor, Gove is going to grab whatever is to hand that looks like the most expensive book.
Ooh.
He's then going to start tearing pages out of that book and then leave it.
You have summoned the ninja.
No, then leave it cautiously next to Clark's hand.
Oh no, the ninja has been summoned. And this is what he sees.
The ninja is too smart for Gove's tricks. He walks out. What's happened is he's completely painted himself, so he blends into the bookshelf behind, and he just walks out. And with a word takes the katana.
Literally poops.
Yeah, takes the katana out, and he says, "I shall strike down the hand that ruined my book." And the katana just in one slice cuts his hand off, just at the wrist, in a bold move to try and make sure that Gove is put in his place. I think, a hand for one of these for ruining an expensive ninja book, an irreplaceable one, like one out of Doctor Strange or something. That's a price worth paying.
Gove, although obviously initially anguished, is not going to be, put off his dreams of having the library to himself from this. So it's just going to, I think, point his spraying stump at Clark's face.
So Clark's trying to set himself up. He's rolled off the chair and he's using the shelves and books are falling out where he's limbing his arm on to try and get some leverage, and he's just crawling up and his blood is all just trickling into his face. It's just
I don't think it is trickling. I imagine it would be more spraying. I'm thinking like a Tarantino film.
So he's getting up and he's and all he's got to hand really is his arm that's in some bookshelf. So he just tries to swing all these behind a load of books to flush a load of books at Gove. I mean, it's not going to do much, but he's hoping that one of them might hit the stump. And because if you have your handcuff, it's kind of painful. You have your handcuff and then you smash it on something. It's even more painful. Yeah.
So he takes, because he's not going to get a proper hit, but
absolutely.
Where he's on the floor flailing. But I think that might work in his favor because he's just going to hit Gove's bloody arm end with the corner of the book. It's just
This is still book sacrilege. They're still using the books as the weapons. The ninja is not pleased. Suddenly, a puff of smoke, like one of those magicians, he appears out of nowhere and taking his katana once again, cleaning it ritually as he does, and then he'll take it out and he'll slice Kenneth Clark's big toe off. I feel like the corner of the book is not as big an offense as ripping the pages out, but the big toe he knows is crucial to balance. Without that, you're screwed, mate.
It's his Achilles toe.
Precisely.
And more importantly, he's gone through his Hush Puppies trademark shoe.
Damaging both his toe and his reputation.
I love that Rob has come in here and the most draconian measures for these two conservatives.
They're ninjas. Ninjas aren't... He's given them the warning. The threat of the ninja should be you know what I do. I throw shurikens for a living. Being a librarian, I'm going to take this seriously. So, the moment they attack the books, that's, I think, physical pain and losing limbs is fair price to pay.
Fair enough.
Fair. But conveniently, although he's lost a toe, he was still, supporting himself, probably one knee down, one knee up, on a bookshelf. So he's not going to fall over or stopple. He's just going to be obviously in a lot of pain from this, and he still would have had the throw of the books into old Gove arm.
Gove.
Yeah, Gove arm. So at this point, he's already low to the ground. He's probably a fairly bulky man. I'm not talking massive, but from the pictures I've seen, he's not a me. We know what I'm like. Skinny as balls. Skinny balls.
That's what they say.
Just imagine that for the minute, if you will. So he'll probably just push off from his foot, even if it's his really bloody foot, and go for a tackle. He's probably not going to tackle Gove over because there's probably a table behind him, I think, or a chair. He's going to try and tackle him because he's down on the floor at the minute, and if he gets up again, he's old. He doesn't want to get up if he can. It's going to be a lot more like a slow tackle, not like a full launch. He hasn't got the mobility for that. He's 79, bless him.
So he's going to hit into Gove, who's going to stumble back and land on a chair. The chair will overbalance and roll him over backwards. It's a big noise and kerfuffle. And they're both on the floor and in pain, bleeding quite a lot. Really, and they're getting blood all over the floor. The ninja janitor is going to be really upset.
Well, maybe, they're used to dealing with blood.
But I think at this point, being a politician, there's only one thing he can do, and that's start a wicked slam campaign. So Gove's going to quickly, pull out his phone, tweet a picture of Clark on the floor, being like, look at Clark starting ruckus in Ninja Library. Hashtag no respect for ninjas.
Oh, Clarky will be crawling across the floor towards one of the bookshelves. You whipper fop. And tries to climb up the bookshelf. And then, he sees the seam between the bookshelves. And he goes to try and tear one down onto Phone Gove. I'm not sure if he has the strength to do that. I don't know how well this library is built.
Sorry, what's he trying to do?
So as he clambers up up the bookshelf to get himself standing again, and then just pull it down onto Gove Phone.
So he's trying to make the actual bookshelf fall over.
Yes.
Gove is going to allow it, knowing that the ninja librarian will probably appear.
The ninja librarian doesn't appear. What happens is, as the bookcase falls and the dust balloons up into the air, through the mist becomes the ghostly figure of Margaret Thatcher. She looms over them. She goes, "Boys, boys, boys. What have you done? What disrespect have you caused to this most sacred of libraries? Don't you think it's time to make up and go home?" And then as she says this, she rips off her face, revealing the ninja librarian below. He's a master of disguise, taking out his katana. He cuts off both of their legs just above the knees. Just both of them in one fail swoop. They weren't expecting this. This is the king of surprise attacks.
When you say both of them, are you referring to both of them or both of one of theirs?
Both of them. There's now 4 limbs on the floor. He's got a katana in either hand, and left and right, just with one fail swoop, chop, very sharp. He just goes straight through flesh, bone, and they're left, a lot like the Black Knight now, just on 2 little stumps.
I think as he did that, Gove is going to try and grab a katana.
That is an interesting ploy by Gove, because he's going to lose all of the fingers remaining on his only hand. It's like, you don't grab the lightsaber, okay? Katanas are sharp. Gove is an idiot.
Handily, I think Gove for him has the advantage of 17 years.
Yeah, but Gove has lost more body parts.
Yeah, but I mean, a hand... You don't get super amount of blood pouring out of the end of an arm. People lose hands all the time in accidents and stuff, and it's not like the end of the world. If you lose your arm right by the shoulder, it's bad, because all the blood pressure's there. But, the blood pressure drops down quite a fair bit by the time you get down to your arm. There aren't many arteries going out of your arm, because it's all, capillaries and stuff, isn't it? So, it's not, the worst thing to happen. There's no, blood highways there, especially not now. But for the record, if anyone's a biologist and can correct me, absolutely do.
We'll leave contact details at the end.
Yeah.
But it's not just his hand. He's now lost a hand, 5 fingers, and 2 halves of 2 legs. Or one leg, again, to put it another way.
Fingers don't really bleed much. But my point was that Clark has also lost 2 limbs while stood up, and he's going to fall over. And he's an old man. He's 79, and he's fallen over a couple of times now. He's not getting up again, not at all. He's writhing in pain, if at all, on the floor, probably thinking this is how I go. Probably just trying to get out a last bollocks, I've lost the word.
Last ditch effort to win the fight.
No.
Last breath. Last eulogy. Last insult.
Cigar.
I feel like, sort of, again, I mean, although, yeah, he does have the age thing on him, he might be in a mildly better condition. It is only very mildly.
Yes.
Gove's going to look over and just go, this is all your fault. and then sort of pass out in a bloody mess on the floor.
Just before, like, Clark lights his cigar, takes a puff, and then lights his lighter again, and he just goes, Thatcher, forgive me. Did he like Margaret Thatcher?
Yeah, he was probably a fan of Thatcher.
Oh, he goes, Thatcher,
I think that's fair to say.
And tries to hold...
Was he a Fancher?
Jeez.
Thank you, I'm here all week.
Tries to hold the cigarette lighter to some books in his, like, final breaths.
Well, that's outrageous.
Well, I mean, he's a dying old man. You'd try burning down the library as well, wouldn't you?
I mean, if you're dying, might as well, yeah. Out with
you know how it is. So many people are like, well, I am dying. I might as well just burn down the library.
The ninja at this point he stopped caring about surprise attacks, to be honest. He just walks slowly through the doorway towards Ken Clark and says, forgive this, takes out the katana and chops his head off. Like, you don't go burning the books. You can't do that. I'm afraid, like, he's seen these saps try to perform what is some form fighting for a while, and if they insist on using the books as weapons, somebody has to be taught a lesson. Yeah. So that's it, I'm afraid. Swing.
Oh, poor Clark Kent. I mean, Kenneth Clark.
I feel like let's be honest, Gove's going to die very soon after due to major blood loss. But I feel like in his last dying moment, he'll have to crawl over and take the lighter as a trophy of his victory.
and tweet out #I win. #greatest debate of our time.
#Clark in hell.
Yeah. And then the ninja janitor walks in and goes, not again.
And then, like, it fades to black, and everyone's like, not again, what's his story?
He's like the janitor in Star Wars.
But it's okay, guys, because you can play Visceral Cleanup Simulator and you'll find out.
Hooray!
But yeah, so, I don't know.
So we have a victor.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he died shortly after the fight, but yes, technically Gove did win.
That sounds very like something Gove would do. Like, technically he won, but also he brought down everything around him at the same time.
Is that kind of how you thought that fight would go?
I don't know. I think I probably would have given... I know Ken Clark's about 20 years older, but I feel like... Personally, I feel like he's got a bit of fight. I think Gove's a bit of a wimp, basically. So I think I had a gif ready, actually, for if Gove lost. Which, for the listeners at home, is just a gif of Margaret Thatcher saying, weak, feeble.
I think that you're probably right. If it was like a straight up fist fight in the street,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kenneth Clark would have won because he's as you're right. Like, just judging by the look of him, he's got a bit more bulk to him. He's probably got a bit more spirit. But
he
given
looks like the sort of man who's been in a pub fight.
Also, Gove wears glasses. You can knock those off, and then he'd probably be useless.
But given the tools available in the library, and the fact that there was almost immediate falling off of chairs and stuff, that's really not going to help an old man.
Yeah, no, I understand. But yeah, no, I'm just my first. Obviously, it massively depends what the setting is. That's the whole point of your show, right? If someone turns up, yeah,
absolutely.
I think my biggest lesson from the whole thing is that politics could be greatly improved with the introduction of a ninja librarian.
I mean, not just politics. I think just day-to-day life.
Exactly, most situations. And, I know that the speaker, John Burko, has recently stood down and they have elected a replacement. However, if they were to replace it with a ninja librarian who could sort out the politicians, during speeches and stuff, if, Boris was to lose a pinky finger because he lied in the House of Commons, then I think the politicians would very quickly start learning. So
maybe not necessarily a librarian. Maybe they need like a ninja chancellor or something.
Precisely, yeah, a ninja speaker, somebody like that. So
the ninjika?
Yeah. Yes, I think we've done it. We've solved it. So
we've solved politics, everyone. We can all go home.
Yeah, done.
Like the ninja chancellor of Lancaster.
Yes, I think if you just take all the political positions and add ninja to the front of them, politics would be vastly improved.
Ninja.
I mean, let's be honest, even if you don't change any of the people doing their jobs, if you just refer to them all as ninjas, it would be a bit better.
Yeah, precisely.
And slightly demeaning for ninjas.
Oh yeah, that's true. You don't want to upset the ninjas.
As we learned today, definitely do not upset the ninjas. And as I think we've learned in previous episodes as well of your show.
Yes.
I realise that I'm saying that like I'm not currently on your show, which is a bit weird of me. So, yeah.
But yes, there have been previous ninjas. I mean, there is a current champion is a ninja.
He is.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Is he the best ninja?
Well, that depends on your definition of best.
Well,
and ninja.
He might be the friendliest ninja. Right. Wow.
Okay. So.
That was that.
Yeah. How does this fit? I mean, this presumably doesn't fit in your chronology, so
No.
I assume there's not as much outro stuff as you normally have.
No, we don't need to do like clues or anything for future characters. Yeah, I mean that's it really. Thanks to everyone for listening. Again, please go and check out Tom and Rob's stuff on Unparliamentary Language. It's very interesting and worth listening to. It's certainly much less silly than what we do. What's your latest episodes been about?
Well, I've edited it today, so it will be going out almost immediately after we've finished this recording. We've just covered the manifestos in the run-up to the general election. So that's actually one of our episodes which will probably stand the test of time a bit better because the manifestos don't change. They're printed now. Maybe people's opinion of them will change, but the actual info in there is going to stay the same.
Cool. And the one that's, I suppose, before this one currently up is you just did one on, I was listening to it the other day, on tactical voting.
Yes. So again, we're trying to couch our discussion of the election in general concepts, because when you release something every 2 weeks during a very fast news cycle, you can get lost if you're doing, if all you're doing is trying to report on the news, it can get lost. So we have the news for patrons, but then we have the actual episodes themselves are just are trying to focus a bit more on long-term stuff so that each episode is hopefully worth looking back on in the future. Who knows? I don't know if people are going to look back on our catalogue in like 10 years, but maybe they will.
Cool. And where can people find you if they want to?
Durham.
Durham. They can find us at parliamentary.observer, a web address I keep thinking is going to be taken away from me because I think it's too good, which is also on tinkertailorsoldiersponge.com. It just forwards you to the right part of the page. There's a little button with podcasts on the right and you can see all the different podcasts. At least cool. I think there is.
I listen to it on tinkertailorsoldiersponge.com. Which is where you can find this podcast as well.
Magic.
Because, as always, we've been part of the TTSS productions that are on tinkertailorsoldiersponge.com. Also, it's probably worth mentioning, while we're plugging on Parliamentary Language, that a while ago we did a episode on their channel, which was another silly sort of crossover, where rather than them bringing us politicians to fight, we took them fictional characters to be political.
To have a fight with words.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun. Nice to have that break from the normal political debate that we have. So
you'd been on a string of just non-stop Brexit, hadn't you? So it was...
Yeah, it was good by comparison.
Nice. We're on a non-stop string of Brexit. That's the problem at the moment. But
yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. And
yeah. So go and give that a listen. And yeah, you can get in contact with us if you want to tell us how you think this went, and if you'd like to see us do any other crossover things in the future, please let us know. Or if you want to submit any suggestions for arenas for the Die of Death to take place, or any characters you want to see turn up in our normal series, and you can do that over on the Twitter @podcastmmm,